right, welcome back to Convincing Idiots. So, in our first segment, we debated on one of our personal favorite years in pop culture history. I had 1984, Dean had 1999, and Nick had 1996. And we surprisingly unanimously picked 1984. Big factor was the movies that came out in '84 with Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
Terminator, and a lot of great ones there, Karate Kid. So some of our favorites growing up and even to this day. So now we're going to talk about our birth year, and these obviously will be a pretty wide variance of time with our
Yeah.
three different generations. So I was born in 1968. So
Woof.
yes, indeed. Think about
I
that.
can't say you're
That's
younger
some
than my mom, so I shouldn't say that.
what? Oh, that's good at least. Okay. All
You're
right.
you're younger than my mom. Yep.
Yeah, you could easily be my son. That's not even kidding around with
Yeah.
our age difference. All right.
It's
So
I've wondered. It's no. If I didn't look so much like my dad, I was gonna say there's well, you're very similar to my dad in interests and tastes, but I was gonna
mhm,
say as far as our interests and things like that, yeah, it's some parallel reality. Perhaps you are.
yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
Well, we'll do it. Well, in a later episode, we're going to do a DNA test, ladies and gentlemen,
Stick
just to
around. Coming up live on Convincing
just to
Idiots.
validate. We're going to get Maury Povich on and just
Yeah.
yeah,
What I'm not happy about is I've been the one that has to extract the DNA from both of you.
yeah, yeah. That's your job.
He
That's your
extracts
job.
it from us, swishes it around in
Hmm.
the petri dish that is his mouth, and then
Hmm.
uh,
Hey,
tastes the same. You guys are related.
You two taste very similar.
I thought this was supposed to be blood you took. No, no. Just listen and keep quiet. All
Well,
right,
you're
so
old enough that blood's probably mixed in with it.
all right, so I looked at sports again here. So in sports, 1968 was now this year is Super Bowl 55, and now in 1968 was Super Bowl number 2. The Green Bay Packers defeated the Oakland Raiders 33 to 14. That was actually Vince Lombardi's last game as the Green Bay coach. Also, which is interesting, in 1984, I mentioned the Celtics defeated the Lakers. That was also the exact same matchup in 1968. The Boston Celtics defeated the LA Lakers in the NBA Finals, despite Jerry West averaging 31.3 points a game. And Jerry West, you might know, is the NBA logo
Yep.
silhouette for the Lakers. Big moment in.
Statman, Statman,
That's right. That's right.
Statman.
Pretty big moment in sports. Arthur Ashe becomes the first African American to win the tennis men's singles at the
Also the
U.S.
namesake.
Amateur Championships. That's right.
Yeah, that is what the stadium there is named after him now, where they play the U.S. Open, Arthur Ashe Stadium.
That is correct. He also duplicated the feat that same year in the U.S. Open in 1968. Who won the World Series in '84? The Detroit Tigers. Who won it in 1968? The Detroit Tigers
Ah,
won
Look
over
at
the St.
that.
Louis Cardinals. Isn't that weird? Big NBA trade that year. Wilt Chamberlain becomes the first reigning MVP to be traded from the 76ers to the LA Lakers, who went on to, of course, a lot of feats and wins and all of that. So, one interesting, the Heisman Trophy winner in 1968. You may have heard of this man, O.J. Simpson, won the Heisman Trophy in 1968 at USC. One interesting sports tidbit was if you're a NFL fan, the infamous Heidi game. You ever heard of the Heidi game before, guys?
Yes,
Heidi
absolutely.
game.
So the Heidi game, Nick. So this was live. This was on live television. The Oakland Raiders are playing the New York Jets,
Okay.
and NBC cut away in the final 2 minutes of the game to go to show the movie called Heidi on network television.
And it
In
was
the
close. The game was close.
well, no, it wasn't that close.
Wasn't it? I thought it
No,
was. I thought it
no,
was
no,
coming down to like the wire.
nope. So the NBC assumed that the Jets were going to win the game because they were up by over two touchdowns or two touchdowns. So they cut away, and then in the actual game, In the final 2 minutes of the game, the Raiders scored two touchdowns
That's right.
to win
Okay.
the game 43-32. This was voted the most memorable NFL regular season game in 1999 when they reviewed some of these here. That happened in 1968. Excuse me. So, movies. I admit I haven't seen a whole lot of these movies, but I've seen a few, and some are actually some of my favorite to this day. Number one movie in 1968, Funny Girl. 2001, A Space Odyssey. The Odd Couple. Bullet. You know that one was Steve McQueen, perhaps. Romeo and Juliet, Oliver, and two right here, number 7 and 8. Still two of my favorite movies. Number 7, the original Planet of the Apes.
Oh.
1960. You ever see the original Planet of the Apes, Nick?
Oh, yeah, I've seen all of them.
Get your hands off me, you damn dirty apes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That
Charlton
movie,
Heston. Go ahead.
I think what still impresses me to this day, especially for the time, that makeup job was phenomenal.
Yes.
It still is good. I mean, it's still
it made
very
Charlton
good.
Heston look human.
It did. Yeah.
Rod Serling.
They were very strict about
Twilight
casting
Zone.
strictly apes for that film. Yeah.
Very painstaking casting. Rod Serling wrote the screenplay of that movie. Did all the old Twilight Zones and all of that. Yes. So that great movie.
And I would just like to touch upon one of the movies you just put on, Romeo and Juliet.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they used to show that in school, back in the 80s, early 90s, before they had, any sort of moral compass, because I remember it was like the first movie you got to see titties in.
Okay.
And they showed it. I mean, while we were in school, they didn't fast forward it. They just, it's like, it's culture. Yeah, just is what it is.
It's art or something.
Hey,
just keep your boners under the tables, whatever. I don't care.
It's fine. Just let the kids. Number 8, one of my top horror movies of all time. That didn't make our list back when we did our horror movies of all time, but it was a consideration. Rosemary's Baby, 1968. Did you ever see that one, Nick?
Yep, I have.
Okay.
Yep.
And then some other movies that came out that year. The Graduate, Dustin Hoffman. You might know that one. Valley of the Dolls, Bonnie and Clyde. And Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Obviously a big movie on racial implications and racial tensions and stuff like that at the time. Yes. Some of the top singles in music that particular year. Number 1 single, Hey Jude by the Beatles. You might know that one. What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong, which I believe was also in the James Bond movie that year. Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, Otis Redding. You know that one. Very classic.
Yep.
Rolling Stones, Jumpin' Jack Flash.
There is a recording out there, a lost recording of me and our sponsor, Blake from Blake Insurance. Of us, we had a few adult beverages and we did some music. We re-recorded some songs, but we wanted to try a cover, so we thought we would do Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. We spent a good hour going back and forth recording this thing, and we thought we did this just phenomenal job. Our voices were impeccable, the timing. I mean, it was a thing of beauty until we played it back.
Good.
It is the worst. Oh yeah. You remember Wolf of Wall Street, where like in his mind he climbed in the car and got, he struggled and got in, but in reality it was just a mess that didn't even make it there. Like, you know what I mean? Like what you remember what actually happened. That's pretty much what it was. It's the word. It's funny. I don't know if Aaron still has it, but it's pretty funny.
Well, I'm sure Otis Redding, wherever he is, appreciated the effort. Some of the top albums, not in any particular order. We had Otis Redding, of course, the Dock of the Bay. Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison. You may have heard some of those songs here. He recorded a live album at that local prison. Simon and Garfunkel, Bookends, Aretha Franklin, her third album, Lady Soul, Rolling Stones, Beggar's Banquet. The Stones were huge back then. Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland. The Beatles, which was the White Album at the time, double album. We had all kinds of weird, a variety of songs back then. Waiting for the Sun by the Doors, and the Fleetwood Mac debut album came out in 1968. Some of the top television shows. Now, obviously, these are shows that now, for me at least, some of these shows I grew up with, and Dean, maybe you as well. These are huge reruns in the 70s when we were growing up. So just some of the top shows in 1968. You had Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, Gomer Pyle, USMC, Bonanza, Mayberry, RFD, Family Affair with Mr. French and all that. You remember that? Right. Gunsmoke.
Yep.
The Dean Martin Show. This is the era of the variety shows that you'll hear here. The Beverly Hillbillies.
Love the Beverly Hillbillies.
I've heard of that one.
Absolutely. Yeah. The Mission Impossible, the TV show, of course, the movies are based on that later with Tom Cruise. Bewitched, the Red Skelton Hour, Others, My Three Sons, Dragnet, Daniel Boone, The Virginian, Ed Sullivan, Carol Burnett, Here's Lucy, Smothers Brothers, Jackie Gleason, Green Acres, I Dream of Jeannie. I mean, as a kid, these were shows like on Channel 43 locally.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about how hot she was.
Oh, Dream of Jeannie?
Eden. Oh, my
Barbara
God.
Eden. Oh, yes. She was one of the first that gave the young boy little funny feelings back in the day.
Tingly things were happening in my underoos.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Let me understand the premise here. I can make any wish I want with this beautiful genie. Go ahead, Nick.
Well, Not one time did he wish for a blowjob. Go ahead, Nick.
I was watching I Dream of Jeannie. So these shows that you mentioned, some I've heard of, but all these old timey shows, old timey for me. If I've seen them, it's because they were run on Nick at Night.
Yes, absolutely.
Sure. Those shows, I've seen them, and I've seen a lot of them. I've seen a lot of Bewitched, but on the subject of I Dream of Jeannie, that really says something. The fact that you could be watching that show in the 1990s or the 2000s, and she was, her beauty really held up over time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's some people like, oh, she was a real dame back in the day, and then you watch it later, and maybe she, whatever, they dressed differently, they did their hair differently, or whatever. But like, she really, she was, very, very attractive. That look really held up through the years, I think.
Absolutely. These are just fun shows. Obviously a lot of variety shows there, but just good written show. I don't know, back then it was just fun, good stuff. Some of the big news events in 1968. So we had the first successful heart transplant. The Big Mac debuted and went on sale at McDonald's. We had the 911 emergency telephone service began in 1968.
68, huh?
Yes. How about
that?
Wait
a minute. Prior to 1968, there was no 911.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you had to dial 0 or know the number to the police station.
Dial the police.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's wild. That just seems like.
You really didn't know that 911 wasn't always there?
I knew it wasn't always there. It didn't precede phones, but I don't know. I just figured that was a thing that came
before that. They just had to yell out the window for the sheriff.
Telephones. I don't know. 68 seems like relatively recent in time to have 911.
Yeah.
That's something. The telephone's been around for a minute before that, so I just feel.
I don't remember as a kid. I'm just trying to think back, even in the 80s. I'm trying to think back that I know 911. I'm not even sure I knew 911 in the 80s. I don't know.
The land was lawless back then. They didn't call 911.
No answer machines, no DVR.
Kids stayed out on the street and shit. And
the lights came on. It was crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so we also had Lyndon B. Johnson sign the Civil Rights Act. We had in fashion trends the see-through blouses. We had the mini skirts. Were big back then. The Boeing 747 made its maiden flight. We had the first flu pandemic in Hong Kong, not really a positive. We had a very significant moment in You might remember in the Olympics that year, the gentleman that did the Black Power salute on the Olympic
Yeah.
stand. You might remember that moment.
Yep.
That was in '68. Airbags were invented.
One was also born.
What's that?
I said one was also born.
That's right.
AIDS.
Thank you. We had the semiconductor computer. So Intel Incorporated was founded. So you remember, you see on all these computers, Intel inside and all that. So that company was founded then. We had the NASA Apollo 8 mission, was the first manned mission to orbit the moon, was in 1968. We had the first hydrogen bomb. The first ATM was installed at First Philadelphia Bank. Those are some of these significant news. And of course, this is not an argument for the positive things in '68. Sure. We had the unfortunate assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy that same year. So that prompted some of the, Lyndon B. Johnson to sign the Civil Rights Act and all of that. So that was, again, not an argument for '68, but it was something significant that we have to at least remember and call out here.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that was happening back then, even, given the pop culture, the music, TV, movies, the turmoil that was going on back then.
Yes.
I mean, it is quite, not only comparison to like present time of what's going on, it could even been possibly worse. I mean, just socially, the social unrest that was going on. It was very significant in like American history. '68 was.
Yes, absolutely. And the counterbalance of that was at least some fun, positive, significant pop culture, television, movies, music, and all of that.
And
so
people were being beat on the street, and
that's right,
and hit with fire hoses, but we got laughing,
and we had the Stones and the Beatles and stuff like that. And then finally, of course, one of the greatest things that happened in '68 was yours truly was born December 22nd, right around, ironically, closing time at a bar, right around 2:30 a.m. December 22nd.
Was she drinking?
She was not. So my biological mom was 19 years old at the time, scared young girl, didn't know what to do, and then later, very soon after, gave me up. Well, actually, no, in '60 gave me up for adoption, and I was adopted by a wonderful family in late '60. Well, probably '69. I became legally with my parents, and then fast forward years later, I became reunited with my biological mother, who lives in Canton, and here you have it. So there you go. So there's 1968.
Beautiful.
Dean, what do you got for your birth year, sir?
81 sucked. Nick, what's up? No,
there you go.
So,
quick.
All right. So let me set the stage
Reagan
for
was shot,
you.
right? Was Reagan shot in '81? Is that right?
Well, we'll get there. Let's start.
Go ahead.
Let's start at the beginning. It was January 1st, 1981.
Yes, young Dean was born.
My mother went into labor. I interrupted a New Year's Eve party, and she went into labor. Went to the hospital. I was born around 9:45 in the evening. I took a while.
She stopped stirring that ham gravy for like 45 minutes.
Actually, she stirred it while she was in bed. It was next to her.
Keeps that pot on the ready.
I'm going to tell you real quick. I'm going to break this and say I was listening to the Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend podcast today, and he fucking mentioned ham gravy.
That's very
really? He listens?
I was. Well, either that or it's a real thing, and he likes ham gravy.
We launched.
Or he listens.
Yes, we launched that TikTok account. Just real quick, the first comment we received on TikTok was that somebody said, my mother also made. They talked about ham gravy.
Thank you.
Bless your heart out there. A nice lady who commented on ham gravy.
Ham gravy.
There you have it. It's a hit. Go ahead, Dean. So sorry. So you were born on
New Year's Day, 1981, and the president at the time for the next 20 days was Jimmy Carter, And
That's
then
right. Oh my gosh, right.
January
Yeah.
20th, Ronald Reagan was inaugurated.
Yes.
And then we have, I'm not going to go through exactly the timeline that you did. I got like some of the bigger things. The Oakland Raiders beat the Philadelphia Eagles
Yes.
in Super Bowl, whatever
15,
that
I think it was.
numeral is.
You know what? I recall at the time. No, listen. So that year too. I remember at the
XV.
Super Bowl.
See, this is nice
15.
about Brian's place on the
15.
show. He can actually tell us what happened in our birth years.
Right.
No, but the Super Bowl 15. I remember that it was against the Eagles. Right?
Yeah.
And it was in a dome stadium. But I recall at the time on the stadium they had a big yellow ribbon.
Superdome, New Orleans.
That's right. But it was to celebrate the hostages coming home.
Yes.
Yes.
Because that's kind of partially what, besides the recession, what lost Carter the election. Because shortly after, probably by the end of January, the hostages did come home. Reagan got them home.
And by the way, Nick, I will add, I apologize. The Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Dallas Cowboys in the championship game to get to the Super Bowl. So that was a bummer for me as a young boy, as a Dallas Cowboys fan. Yes,
and to lose to them. Yeah.
The first of 3 consecutive Super Bowl or championship losses by the Cowboys. The next year was the catch by Dwight Clark.
Yeah.
I digress. Dean, go ahead. Sorry.
We're moving along. John Hinckley Jr., like you'd said, in March, attempted to assassinate President Reagan.
You know what? I want to mention this. I'm sorry. One of the funniest things at the time, I remember. No, listen, not
the assassination attempt.
No.
That was hilarious at the time.
No.
Dude's in a wheelchair now. Hilarious.
No. Not that Reagan got shot. But at the time, even as a child, I was a big SNL fan. Okay.
Yeah.
And I want you to go back if you haven't watched it before. At the time, they made a huge. After this is obviously when Reagan was okay, and so that was fine. But they made this parody of Eddie Murphy playing Buckwheat getting shot. You ever hear of this?
I saw that. I heard of it.
I've seen him do the buckwheat, but I don't know.
Been shot. So they really played it up because at the time, obviously, it was a huge, huge thing that the president was shot. I mean, Jesus criminy, think about that. I remember I was in grade school, and they wheeled in a television in the classroom so you could watch live that the president had been shot to make sure that he was okay. I mean, it was that significant of a moment back then, of course. But they parodied that. You can probably find that on YouTube, I'm quite certain.
Yeah.
But Eddie Murphy, Buckwheat's been shot. And it was just a whole parody of the newscast and Ted Brokaw.
Right.
In case you're just joining us, Buckwheat's been shot, and it was
Buckwheat's been shot.
Pretty funny. Sorry, Dean, go ahead.
Well, sticking with the theme of hilarity, at least in Brian's eyes, the Pope.
I mean, it's Reagan, so like
the Pope was also attempted assassination by Turkish gunmen in May. Also in May, Bob Marley died of cancer, 36 years old. What brings up? We went back up with Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes,
debuted in June.
God, 40 years ago. 40 we just watched that this past weekend. Raiders of the Lost Ark. I couldn't believe it was 40 years ago.
Yeah. Donkey Kong was released a month later.
Wow.
And then August 1st, 1981, MTV is launched.
Yes.
That changes the landscape for pop culture.
Yeah, it sure did.
And then, I wasn't expecting this, but Ric Flair wins his first World Heavyweight Championship against Dusty Rhodes.
Ooh. The American Dream.
American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby. I
had to draw him out.
Ladies, you can't be first, but you could be next. Was that the line?
Was that was Ric Flair.
Yeah.
I keep dropping it. With a tear in my eye.
Have you guys seen the ESPN thing on him, on Ric Flair, the documentary? That's a great.
I have not actually.
Incredible, very good.
The 30 for 30.
30 for 30. Yep.
Yes. Highly recommended.
Yeah,
I don't need to watch it, baby. I lived it, baby.
What a life. Amazing he's
Yeah.
still alive. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
know, it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Also, December of '81, Muhammad Ali fights for the last time,
Mm.
losing to Trevor Burdick. Some of the top 100 songs: Betty Davis Eyes, Endless
Yes.
Love by Diana Ross, Lionel
My
Richie.
Wow.
endless love.
Yeah.
You
You know what? That's nice.
Brian, you don't interrupt him. Let him
Yes.
let
Sorry.
golden pipes
It's an
go.
endless love. It's not
Sorry.
an interrupted fucking love.
Sorry.
No, what were you gonna say, Brian?
No. Two all-decade songs right there, the '80s, right there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got "Lady" by Kenny Rogers, which touches my heart.
Yes.
Lady. Starting Over by John Lennon. Jesse's Girl by Rick Springfield. Celebration
Huge.
by
Man.
Kool and the Gang.
Wow.
Kiss on My List by Hall & Oates.
Big.
I Love a Rainy Night by Eddie Rabbitt.
That's good.
9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. Keep on Loving You by REO Speedwagon. I got music here in '81.
That's a solid playlist right there if you like the '80s. Yeah.
The theme to the greatest American hero. Believe it or not,
God, was
I'm
that
walking
81?
on air. Yeah.
Holy cow.
By Joe Scatberry.
Scatberry?
Scatberry.
Scatberry.
Yeah, all right. So that was the top 15 of them. They went 100. Okay, so movies.
Go
Top
100
movies
to
in
1.
1981. Das Boot. Not really, but German U-boat. On Golden Pond.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Mad Max 2, Road Warrior.
Okay.
The Evil Dead.
Ooh, God, was that 81?
Yeah,
Holy crap.
1981.
Wow.
That motherfucker looks good for his age.
Bruce Campbell.
Holy shit.
Good movies. Evil Dead.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Did you see was it Evil Dead that they did a reboot of not that long ago?
It was a series on Stars.
Yeah.
It's on
Yeah.
Netflix. Go check that out.
Yeah.
Fun.
Okay, I got we said World Series won by the Dodgers. Like I said, the Oakland Raiders won the championship.
Mm-hmm.
For Nick there, the Stanley Cup was the New York Islanders.
Mm.
Clemson won the championship. Marcus Allen won the Heisman that year.
Okay.
What was the other thing here? See, I have...
Was the Celtics on the championship?
Let me go back to this. Does not say.
Okay.
See, what I got this 1981. Remember when?
I see.
And actually, fun thing about this is it gives you also like ads from the different
that's fun.
things here.
Yeah.
Yes, the Celtics to beat the Rockets that year. That was Bird's rookie season, I believe. So no, second season. So the Celtics beat the Rockets in the championship.
So some of the television, you have Too Close for Comfort. MASH was, I think, probably its final year.
Mm-hmm.
One day at a time, or at least
wasn't final year, but still, MASH was still
it was coming
big.
up towards the end. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Walter Cronkite retired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm going to rest my laurels here on the music of 1981.
Yeah, that's good.
You have Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Evil Dead.
That's pretty solid. Mm-hmm.
There's some of these that I wanted to show you. Look at this. First video camera that lets you focus like this.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Look at that.
Crazy.
That's not creepy at all.
And that's
looks like a sniper.
Wow. And then what do you want to show creepy? This is what they're advertising for, like mopping the floor. What the fuck's going on behind why is the family outside?
It's so close. Well, they're not allowed because it's so close.
That's true.
They can't,
it's drying.
They can't stand on it.
Yeah. But this is a cool little book.
Don't touch mom's floor. God damn it. Yeah.
So that's pretty much 1981.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And once again, I was born, so
And we were gifted.
So that brings it down slightly.
Wah, wah, wah.
All right, Nick, what happened in 2005?
Well, Facebook was on the rise in 2005. 1988, I was born.
Okay,
1988.
So
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah. See, Dean, we represent ourselves from 3 different generations, but Dean and I are only actually 7 years apart, so it's not really that big of a gap. But yeah, 1988. So some opening notes here that I have, some interesting facts. 1988 is the year that Phantom of the Opera opened, and it is the longest running Broadway play of all time.
Wow.
That started in 1988. 1988, the Olympics were held in Calgary, Alberta, the Winter Olympics, and that was the scene of a very notable first appearance of a Jamaican bobsled team, which was later depicted in 1993's Cool Runnings. That was 1998, those Olympics.
Great movie.
1988 was also the emergence of the first. Here's 1998.
I was laughing at Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
1988 was also the emergence of the very first computer virus, the biggest notable computer virus, the 1988 Internet Worm. That was 1988. Let's see. We also have in sports, the Edmonton Oilers won the Stanley Cup for the last time in
Gretzky,
1988. Right? Yes, that was with Gretzky. Their fourth with Wayne Gretzky. I don't believe they're last. They won one more after that, but yeah, he was traded to the Kings. Yeah, I think it was second to last with the Oilers, if I'm not mistaken. The Los Angeles Lakers beat the Detroit Pistons for their 5th NBA title in franchise history.
Yep.
You shake your head. Did the Celtics have something to do with getting beat on the way there?
Yeah, Detroit beat that was the Bad Boys of Detroit rising at that time.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was 88. Let's see here. We have in the motion pictures the picture of the year of 1988. Now, these awards were given out in 1988, so these films maybe weren't made then, but they were awarded then. So picture of the year was The Last Emperor in 1988. I looked it up. I don't know what that is. I don't recall that movie. Best actor went to Michael Douglas in Wall Street.
Yep. Greed is good.
What's that? Greed is good.
Greed is good. Yeah.
Best actress went to Cher for Moonstruck. Don't know that one either.
Yeah, it's popular. Yep, go ahead.
Okay.
80s popular, I should say. Yep.
Yeah. So into music, though, the album of the year in 88, not made in 88, was U2's The Joshua Tree. Love that album. Fantastic album.
Very good.
Notable albums that did come out. These are, again, notable to my preferences. I kind of picked out my favorites. Notable albums that were released in 1988. Soundgarden came out with one of their first LPs, Ultra Mega OK. U2 came out with Rattle and Hum, which was really cool. It was a live album where they did a lot of like blues stuff. Even featured a song with B.B. King. That was pretty cool. I think it was a movie that went along with it as well. Let's see. Bad Religion came out with the album Suffer. Queensryche came out with Operation Mindcrime, which to this day it's at least top 2. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. Vixen's self-titled album came out as well in 1988. This was a fun little area that I found. These were bands that were formed in 1988. So this one was my favorite because I call them my birthday band. My birthday is March 11th, so my birthday band is 311. Not only are they the birthday band of my month and date, but they were formed in 1988. I did not know that. 311.
Look at that.
311, March 11th. 311 was formed in 1988. A band that has kind of faded into obscurity. We'll call them a duo that has faded into obscurity. But to this day, their tape cassette still sits in my car in case I ever want to throw that bad boy in the tape deck. Milli Vanilli was formed in 1988 as well. As well as off camera, Brian and I were just talking about this band Slaughter. They were late 80s, mostly popular in the early 90s, but they were formed in 1988. I found out Slaughter. And also Mother Love Bone, which is near and dear to my heart. So if you guys don't know who Mother Love Bone is, which probably a lot of people don't unless you're tuned into that specific genre and scene, Mother Love Bone is basically what Pearl Jam is now. The majority of the members of Pearl Jam to this present day, that was their band with a different singer before they found Eddie Vedder. They were known as Mother Love Bone with a different lead singer. So that's what was going on in music. Also, I've got here some of
How shitty do you got to feel if you're that old lead singer?
Well, the reason they didn't keep using him is he overdosed on heroin. So
okay, well,
he's not.
Yeah,
I mean, he didn't. He's, rest in peace,
is
Andy
he
Wood.
alive?
No, he
died.
passed away.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Andy Wood passed away.
So he didn't mind being replaced at that point.
No, I don't think so. No.
Fair
But
enough.
to this day, Pearl Jam still covers some of their songs, and when they do certain sets and longer sets and stuff like that, which is really cool. Some popular songs of 1988: "Bad Medicine" by Bon Jovi. Let's see, "Red Red Wine" by UB40.
Yep.
I loved that song when I was a kid.
Did you?
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got "Man in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson. That was a big one as well. "Pour Some Sugar on Me" by Def Leppard. Came out in 1988. "Is This Love" by Whitesnake. Came out in 1988.
Love it.
"Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car" by Billy Ocean. Came out in 1988. Yeah, pretty proud of that one. Let's see. Here we've got "Sweet Child of Mine" by Guns N' Roses, also released in 1988. "Need You Tonight" by INXS. And the number one song of 1988 was "Faith" by George Michael. Oh, and not to be forgotten, "Never Gonna Give You Up" by Rick Astley. Also came out in 1988.
Oh, boy. Yep.
Yeah, so interesting year. A lot of things.
You got rickrolled for your birthday.
I got rickrolled on my birthday, on my birth year. Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun, like researching this stuff because, all these things that I'm mentioning, I'm familiar with, but a lot of them, especially things that I grew up and appreciated on my own, things like, Rattle and Hum and, finding out that 311 was also formed in 1988. And the bands that I mentioned, Milli Vanilli, Slaughter, Mother Love Bone, for different reasons that I enjoy them or whatever. I had no idea they started in 1988. So doing a little research on this stuff was a lot of fun. Also, I mean, I've seen Cool Runnings a million times. You guys were talking about like the movie Romeo and Juliet they'd show you in school. I don't know if that was for educational purposes or they just showed it to you when there was nothing else to do and there was a free day, but our go-to movie all throughout school was Cool Runnings. They showed it all the time in school. So I've seen it a million times. I may have seen that movie more than any other movie just from school alone. But I don't know if I realized it was the 88 Olympics. I'm sure it's mentioned and I'm sure it's, sure. I didn't really notice it, but I thought that was pretty cool to find out. But it was fun doing some research and finding out a lot of these things that happened in the year that I was born. Sweet Nicholas came into this world and into your lives.
See, I agree with Nick. I really enjoyed reading all of this for the first time while we were on the air. It was
I'm learning this right here in front of you.
All right. Well, for me, all things considered, I mean, from a pop culture perspective, I mean, obviously, it's significant news and all of that is, that's you can argue, differently with stuff that was invented and things like that. But from a just strictly thinking fun, entertainment, it starts with Raiders of the Lost Ark was launched. And then just that mini playlist that Dean mentioned from 1981. That was when from like the early 80s to like 85 for me. That era of like even the pop culture type music. I mean, the pop music, excuse me. I mean, I went into the harder rock stuff and that got even in that range was pretty rock solid. 88, I remember back then it was like I just graduated high school in 87. And it was just they were trying to figure stuff out. Right. You mentioned like Def Leppard, Pour Some Sugar on Me. I mean, I mean, it was a huge success for Def
I
Leppard.
despise the band Def Leppard in
What has
general.
9 arms and sucks? Def Leppard.
Def Leppard.
Yeah, that's funny. But the hair band, the hair
Passion of the
band.
Christ. Oh,
Yeah, right. The hair bands at the time, Nick, they were trying to figure their way. It's like we don't know what's going on. We got to reinvent ourselves. It was more ballady stuff, and they turn around and Nirvana came on and just wiped the whole thing out.
They were on their way out anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but in 81 to 85 era range, that's all that was just huge and fun. So my opinion, I'm going to go with Dean's year, 1981, in our birth years, as far as all of the entertainment and fun. That's my choice.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like I chose Brian's year of 68 simply for the movies. For that list of movies. I kind of, yes, everything else, was with it, but my focus was like, wow, that list of movies.
Mm-hmm.
And for like 1981, that list of music right there, like you said, you can't beat it. Plus, MASH was still in the air, so
yeah,
that's pretty awesome. And Kenny Rogers had a hit on the charts, so yeah. To me, I'm going to go with 1981 as well.
Nick, what do you think?
Well, I don't know of much that happened other than Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie in 1968. So, as much as I appreciate all of the things, I've never heard of most of them. So, I would probably have to go with 81 on that one. Just because I'm more familiar with that stuff. So, I would give a tip it to 81.
So, we have done 2 rounds of this, and we were both rounds.
It was unanimous.
Unanimous. So
yeah,
first round we went with my selection of 1984.
Yep.
And then in our birth years.
Dean, did you pick your own birth year too? I thought you picked his birth year.
My mom picked my birth year.
No, he was leaning toward. He was going to do 68, and his year.
Oh, I see. I didn't get the. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But because of the movies, you went to 81.
Yeah,
I gotcha. Okay.
Well, when I said, 68 is going to be my year automatically because of my birth year, he had to pick a different year.
Right. So I picked
on his pop culture year. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
No, I think actually what you heard, I think I misspoke. Mm-hmm. When I was giving my my reasoning, I meant 84 for all the movies, not 68. Okay. I misspoke. I apologize. That's probably what you heard. Mm-hmm. When I was giving my reasoning, I picked 84 because of all the movies. I think I may have said 68.
You did. Okay.
Okay. All right. My apologies.
Okay. That's fine. All right.
81.
81. He's going with this. So he's going with his own birth year.
Right?
And then, yes.
Okay. You said 84, and I was curious. Okay. 81. I was like, did we do 84?
That's right.
There's a lot of years
There's a lot happening going on. I don't know. 84,
right.
81, 86, 68, 84. Yeah.
So I think you just found out my locker combination.
All right, so we're unanimous. So the year we selected on our own, my year was unanimous, 84.
Mm-hmm.
And then our birth year, we were unanimous. Dean's birth year of 1981. So out there, everybody, if you agree, disagree, we're interested to hear your
and
commentary.
Me being born didn't even hinder it. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it didn't even hurt.
It didn't even have to come to a decision.
Wow.
Like in a bar graph, you start out the year, and then you're born. It just goes down, right?
Drop to the
bottoms out.
Yep.
And then somewhere in there, things are happening, and Raiders of the Lost Ark comes out, and it just starts to even out.
Well, according to Brian, Reagan gets shot, so that starts steeping up.
No,
because he's giggling.
Well, that brought the Buckwheat was shot parody, and that definitely helped. Take it to a higher level.
Oh, the Pope now too.
Anarchy.
So our next episode, Nick, I think we're going to do another
greatest
superhero.
Assassinations.
That's the greatest assassination. Greatest assassination parodies. So we have Buckwheat getting shot.
Yeah.
We have, I think there was the McKinley parody assassination
That's
by,
right.
I think it was Richard
SCTV.
Pryor. I think something like that. Or was it John Candy? Maybe did
Yeah.
that one. I can't remember, but. No, but we're doing another super. If you don't know, Nick, it's okay. We're doing another super.
Oh,
Who's our
no, I
next
have it right here.
bracket?
Our
Yes.
next matchup on the bracket
Open the
is
goddamn book.
this is topical because Vision, currently in the spotlight, is going up against Thor. So we have Vision and Thor. That'll be an interesting one.
It will be.
We've got two very different skill sets there. So yeah,
Mhm.
Vision and Thor will be the next matchup.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good.
Not
And then
going to be as easy as you would think.
No,
I don't think so.
And then last week we piloted just a week in pop culture. We thought we might shoot something like that this evening, but it's way too late for us to do that tonight. So we may reconvene. We may do some more of that and kind of play around with that topic. We may do something surprising. We may do something live. You don't know. We'll keep you guys posted out there if you're listening or watching this, and so stay tuned to that. But we like the idea of having some fun with some of the headlines. So we'll kind of figure out how to maybe evolve that a little bit here as we go forward.
Yeah, we've got some catching up to do because I have caught up on WandaVision, so we got to talk about that as well as some other things.
Yes.
And let's just say it now. We talked about it during the break. Coming to you guys sometime. We don't know exactly when, but we are going to do a Facebook Live where the three of us would get on. Maybe probably weekend night, Friday night, probably.
Yeah, little house party.
And little house party. And we're going to do a little episode for you. Don't know how long. So like I said, we don't know a whole lot about it. We just know we're going to do it soon.
Yeah.
And you guys,
we're in talks with the production
with us.
department. Yeah,
That's
see.
right.
Yeah, you may watch us talking. You might watch us be sleeping. Who knows?
Well, Friday night slumber parties at my
both.
house have been a big hit in the past. So
yes,
I like
absolutely,
that.
Absolutely. All right, so Nick, why don't you remind the good folks out there where they
actually real quick.
Yes.
Before
Dean,
we go,
yes.
I would like to tell you what these whole shenanigans tonight has been brought to you by. It's brought to you by
Aaron.
Is any in hell you're still listening or watching right now? We greatly appreciate that. I'll
And
just say,
we'd
Matt,
also-
Matt, thank you for listening and watching.
Thank you.
Yes,
at the very
Matt,
least.
big shout out to you. I don't know Matt. I was telling Dean, I said, I got to say, though, from the comments and things that little exchanges we've had on Facebook and stuff, I feel like Matt and I would get along quite well. I think he seems like he's a really good dude. I like Matt.
Now, this I want to say, too. If anybody out there, if you start to comment, rate, just commentary, we're more than happy to mention your name if you wish.
Sure.
Show. So
I've had if we're doing shout outs, probably neither of these people would be listening this far in, but I did have a shout out buddy Bill Von Steen at work that Dean and I work with. He requested a glass. He goes, I really want to get one of those glasses that you guys have, one of these fine gentlemen right here. So we might be looking to drop some merch. And I know another guy, gentleman Brant at work. He's a listener. He was telling me today he's got his Spotify hooked up to his TV because he goes, you guys are still doing that podcast, right? I said, yeah. He goes, when I turn on my TV, I see like a playlist that I have made and the picture of your podcast from Spotify are the two things that pop up. I'm like, well, that's cool. Appreciate it.
There we go.
Shout out to Brant, Bill. We got some love from Nelson Corporation. People are being supportive, so we appreciate that. And of course, Matt, as always.
Well, if you guys are going to support us, why don't you go ahead and support Blake Insurance?
Hey.
It is an Erie insurance agency located in Barberton, Ohio. They offer auto, home, renter's business, or life insurance. This is above all service. Call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today.
Dean, I just wanted to say,
yeah,
that was such a fine segue. I could ride around on that shit all day. Beautiful. Beautifully done.
That was a authentic radio college trained voice.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Nick, why don't you remind us where they might be listening or where they can find us?
Absolutely. Well, you may already be viewing us on one of these platforms, but if you are not, you can find us on YouTube or Facebook by searching Convincing Idiots. We're on the gram at convincing_idiots. We're on Twitter at Convincing Idiot with no S. We're now on TikTok at Convincing Idiots. And of course, please feel free to email us at convincingidiots@gmail.com. walmart.com. And as always, you may ask your home assistant device to play us. Say, play Convincing Idiots, and they'll play us, which means we can be found anywhere you like to listen to podcasts. So, today, I am Nick, signing off for
Dean.
Brian.
Have you been convinced? Okay. Sounds
Yeah.
good, fellas.
Possibly see you tomorrow at trivia.
Yes. Yes, and we get a haircut. It's not the Wally World. I'll give you. So at least two of us will have a hat that looks like.
That's
this.
right. Right.
Do you
That's
get your hair cut at Walmart?
No.
Okay, that's how
No.
I'm just like, that's how it sounds.